So it's been one yes, good point. And that's staying in. It's been one of the biggest transfers of the summer. He's been talking to PSG. The guy's been talking to Man United. Sam's Man United.
I'm not sure he ever did, really.
He's been talking to Barcelona. But he's ended up at Juventus. Matthijs de Ligt has left Ajax for 75 million euros.
Goodbye.
That's 67.8 million English pounds.
Fantastic exchange rate.
A 5-year contract to Juventus. So I thought we'd just kind of have a quick natter about it, about the contract that's been put in place.
Yeah.
And seeing as Man United were so involved in his story this summer, we're looking to try and get him at one point. And also, I think it was Man United and Barcelona were the front runners initially, and then all of a sudden he's taken a little right turn to Juventus town. I think it's interesting how he's gone there and how Juventus buying all these players. So many questions to be answered.
So many.
So I thought I'd have a chat with Sam, because you were obviously following this for quite a long time. So, first of all, 19 years old.
19.
Unbelievable deal. Looks like
That's a lot of money.
the full package is going to cost Serie A champions 195 million euros.
How?
And he might be earning a potential salary, weekly salary, if the add-ons are achieved, of 460 euros. 460 euros? That's
460 euros?
460,000 euros per week.
That's a lot of money.
So that's all happened. Juventus look like they've got a squad that was always going to challenge every season. It always does, but that is quite a big signing and kind of safeguards the future of their centre-back partnerships for the next few seasons. But there's some interesting stuff in the contract. First things first, what are Juventus getting in De Ligt?
I mean, he's clearly. You think it's fair to say he's probably a generational talent. Every generation, you get one or two players in each position which just stand out head and shoulders above. And at 19, he captained Ajax back to the title in Holland, to the cup as well, and to the Champions League semi-final, and he didn't look out of place at all. Certain players you think look like a flash in the pan, like he just had a good season.
Yeah.
But he speaks like a leader. He plays like a leader. He clearly is he'll shine in Serie A. That's where the best defenders in the world, have been made. So in that sense, it's a good move for him. But I mean, the whole thing was a bit embarrassing how it panned out, I think, this summer.
Interesting. Before we get to that, that's wicked. I do think part of me naturally goes, isn't it a bit premature to go, this guy is a generational talent when he's 19 years old? But the kind of counter argument is what you've kind of just said, is that I think sometimes, look, Ravel Morrison's gone to Sheffield United, and he's a player who's supposedly a generational talent, but hasn't had the kind of capacity to be able to behave himself, knuckle down, and achieve what his potential sort of had there in front of him. I think the difference with De Ligt is his ability and his comfort of being a captain at Ajax and dealing with that responsibility. Yeah. Because I think in the Champions League, where a lot of us saw most of him last couple of seasons, Europa League before that. Yeah. You saw he was always an underdog in a lot of those games, and so there isn't that same kind of pressure. But in Eredivisie, Ajax are the biggest club in Holland, in the Netherlands, and therefore there is a pressure on him to do. But
in the same sense, like Ajax, they didn't win the title last year, so they came back and he brought them back, and it was a season of all seasons for Ajax with the players they had, Frankie de Jong, and then Van de Beek, and then they had Tadic having a ridiculous season. Just all these, the moons aligned for Ajax to win the Champions League this year, and it just didn't happen for them, thanks to Spurs.
Lucas Moura happened, didn't he? So when you then say that this whole thing has been a bit surprising and a bit disappointing, what do you mean by that in terms of the transfer?
Because he should have signed for Barcelona about a week after the transfer window opened. It made perfect sense. Frankie de Jong had already gone there, Barcelona and Ajax, and the history that happens there. He'd already said he wanted to. I think he did. I might be making that up, but it made perfect sense for him to go to Barcelona.
It felt obvious.
It felt right.
I said it as well. Like that seems like that's the place where you go and you spend the rest of your career there, and you've got your guy Frankie de Jong in that spot, ready to be there alongside you for the next 10, 15 years. So I was surprised when that move to Juventus happened. It feels like the Nations League has stopped Barcelona from getting that player, because it seems as though Ronaldo sort of chewed his ear off for a bit, and it made a difference.
No, the reason he has joined Juventus, we all know it's because his agent is Mino Raiola, and I think that's a mistake that he's made that early in his career. Because
why is it a mistake? Because he gets people money.
I know that, but you're not in control of your career as a player if Mino Raiola is your agent. He is in control of where you will play, and that is it. I don't think that at the start of the summer, De Ligt even thought about Juventus. I mean, he's not going to be upset about joining Juventus. They've got Ronaldo. They're clearly going to win the Scudetto again, 7 in a row, whatever they've got. It's not going to be a bad move for his career, but it's not what he would have anticipated, and that's all been steered and geared by Raiola, and so is that release clause in his contract, and we all know in 2 or 3 years, Barcelona are going to pay it, and he's going to move along, and then maybe you're going to look back on it and say, great, look, he had came through at Ajax, had 2-3 years at Juventus, won Serie A, then he went to Barcelona, and he's still only going to be 22. So
the reason for him choosing Juventus then, do you believe that's a career choice or a financial choice? Which seems a shame when they're 19 years old and it's a player of the sort of substance that you think that he had.
We all know it's financial. It really has to be financial and nothing more. If it was a career choice, he would have just gone and settled down in Barcelona and played with the world's greatest player in Lionel Messi.
Yeah.
And with his friend from the academy that he's come through. There's so many more reasons why Barcelona would be a career choice, and so many more reasons why Juventus is a money choice. And it won't be a bad move for his career. It's just motivated differently, I think.
So getting on to this with Juventus and the players that they're buying. So De Ligt has obviously joined. Luca Pellegrini has joined for 20 million from Roma. Christian Romero from Genoa has come for 23.3 million. Mary Demirol has come from Sassuolo for 16.1 million. Rabiot has come on a free transfer, which would be decent money for a 24-year-old. Buffon's gone back. Aaron Ramsey, of course,
That's a lot of players.
Have all arrived. And I did see something about them talking to Neymar, but that's surely not. Surely not. So how are Juventus able to buy all these players?
I have absolutely no idea, but Juventus, I think, for a good few years have been the kings of the transfer window. Ever since they took Pogba away from us for free and then sold him back to us for 80 million. They're just very savvy at seeing what signings will work beneficially for them as a business, and also good players, man. Rabiot on a free transfer, good player. Aaron Ramsey, good player.
As well. Yeah, I think this is a long-running theme for Juventus as well, where they're able to save certain elements of money by getting free transfers. Obviously, they have to spend a lot more on the wages of certain other players. And people like Cannavaro was picked up, became a Juventus legend, but he was picked up at the end of his contract. Bagley as well was the same kind of thing. So it's a very clear way of signing players for Juventus, which is smart because you've got a league there in Serie A that doesn't compete with the other ones, but you have a club with such sort of history that I think players are happy to go there, and they're even happier to go there when they're able to get the money that they're able to get to at the end of the
I'll tell you what,
I
feel Serie A might be having a bit of a renaissance because there's a lot of good players. You know, Inter Milan, I think, have got new owners as well. Yeah. AC have got new owners, and they were both two powerhouses. Since they've gone down the pan, Serie A's gone down the pan. Now, Juventus have stormed it for 7 years, but with players like De Ligt going over there, as I said, it's going to be a choice motivated by money more than anything, which is ironic, really, because the Premier League is the richest league in the entire world. But
so does that hurt a little bit that Man United weren't able to get him?
No, because if I'm De Ligt, why the fuck am I choosing to move to United right now? I'm being honest, because we are nowhere near winning the league. We won't be for a few years. So from a career choice, United would have been the worst option. Okay. I mean, he would have played every single week. He would have been the leader that we need, and that's the thing that United fans held on to is this: if you want a new challenge, man, come to United. It's a serious fucking challenge.
Yeah.
But he's gone to Juventus, and you can't begrudge him for that. Yeah. I suppose.
It's going to be interesting to see what they can do. The final thing I want to talk about is this buyout clause. So the buyout clause is 150 million euros, 135.6 million quid, which is included in the contract, but it only comes into effect in June 2022, which would be the end of the third year of this 5-year deal.
Right.
So what this hints at to me is that this isn't a long-term career choice. This is a one-contract career choice. Why do you think buyout clauses are becoming so important in the modern game? It's something that I think we've spoken about more so in this transfer window than we have done for any.
I think it's a buyout clause is not something a club will ever want in their contract. If a club was in complete control of the deal, there would never be any buyout clauses because it takes power away from the club and gives it to the player. But that's what it is. It's the player and the agent. It's their power play. And for Mino Raiola, he's learned from his mistake with Paul Pogba because he sold Pogba back to United, and he doesn't have a buyout clause at the moment. And Real Madrid want him, but we can charge whatever we want, and they can't afford him. And that's the sole reason why Pogba is going to stay at United this summer, I think. It's because we're going to outprice Real Madrid. Maybe that'll change next year, but he's learned his mistake with De Ligt, and that's... I don't like him, but I suppose you can look at him whatever way you want, because it forced it. No, fuck it, I don't like him. No, I'm trying to give a reason. I don't like him.
Because there are different ways about it. You can have no buyout clause, which obviously there's power for the club there. There are these clauses that say, is it Griezmann, like 800 million, which is it's not even worth the paper it's written on. No one's going to pay that kind of money, or are they? But they're not.
They're not.
But then it is a very strong power play for the agent, like you say, when it is this amount of money. Now, 135.6 million for a centre back who was a captain at Ajax, became a strong leader and a Champions League winner. This is all obviously hypothetical in the next few years for Juventus, and is going to be 22, 23 years old. That becomes a price that is not reasonable. Of course, none of this money is reasonable, but you could see someone spending that kind of money on them. And so that is a very clever little clause that Rayola's put in there, and it worked well for him, and it could see him going to Barcelona long term.
Very, very surprised that Juventus allowed that to go. And as much as we're praising Juventus for being shrewd in the transfer window, given that Liverpool paid 75 for Van Dijk last year, year and a half ago in January, we're probably going to pay 80-ish million for Harry Maguire, which is ridiculous. In 3 years' time, for De Ligt to be only worth 120 million, given how much has changed in the transfer window, that seems a bit cheap. So Rayola's happy with that. He's going to get like his 10% commission. He is minted. Did you see it when he came? Juventus fans were fucking cheering Rayola's name. I hate the guy. He's a fat meth, but
wow.
But he's a good football agent. I suppose if you're a client of his, you really do like him as your agent, because he gets you the biggest contracts at the big clubs. Just as a fan, he's a bit of a twat.
Okay. Describe Rayola in one word in the comments below. Go and do it right now. Also, let us know your thoughts on this De Ligt signing. Is that smart business by Juventus? What do you think of that buyout clause? Let us know in the comments below. Hit the like button, subscribe to Bull Street, and we'll see you soon.